Good morning. It is Jane with Scraptastic Yarns, and we are in a new year. Now, I've told you guys that my word for this year is blessed, and I truly believe that. I'm very blessed. Good morning. It is Jane with Scraptastic Yarns, and it's a new year. Aren't you excited about this new year? I am, sorta. I told you that my word for the year is blessed. Last year it was 2 words, basically be courageous. But this year it is blessed, and I truly feel that I am blessed. I have so many of you that are friends, I consider family here, and I am grateful that you come back to watch what I offer every time. Thank you so much for being there. All right, guys. I have one finished object, just one, and here it is. It is the blanket. I think it's Woods in the, oh boy, now I can't remember the name of it. It's the blanket by Glenda of Creative Grandma, and I'll put it down below. I can't believe I forgot the name of the blanket. Winter in the Woods, or Woods in the Winter, or something like that. But I'll put that down below. It is a nice size blanket, well, Afghan. As you know, I'd started this a year ago at Christmas when Thomas was bleeding out and we were in the hospital. And I'd started it then, worked on it a little bit, worked on it when he was in the hospital in January. A little bit. Put it back because I had other things I had to make. And then in February when he was in the hospital and then into Gatehouse, I pulled it back out and worked a little bit on it, but not a whole lot. And I kind of put it away and thought, I don't know if I'm going to finish that or not. It was a blanket that I planned to give to Prayer Shawl Ministry. Nope, going to keep it. So, for keeping it, it is going to be on my couch when the new house is finished. And that's coming along great. They're putting up the siding, and yeah, it's looking good. And I will get over there and get video and or pictures soon. I just haven't got to it yet. So I decided that it needs to have a pillowcase for me to fold it up and put it into that when I'm not using it as a throw over the back of the blanket, because there are some nice warm summer months and you don't necessarily want a blanket laying out on your couch, that kind of thing. So, that's it. Those are the 2 items I've got done. I have started on the Little League hats for UPMC. What I'm doing is I'm just doing a base hat right now so that I have all the base hats ready to go, and then I can add on the red and then do the stitching on the baseball cap. That stitching probably takes the longest to do because you are making the baseball cap look, like it's an actual baseball. And that takes the longest. Hats are the easiest to do, quick like that. And I decided it was better off just get all the hats, do all the red trim on them, and then start doing the stitching during the week, when I have a little downtime. And, yeah, so those are the plans for that. As for the Nana's quilts, I have pulled 2 tops out to find backing for. And in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I'm also going through all this fabric that is in this room, in the closet, and out in the hall there, and starting to kind of sort through it, put some back. That itself is a nice big chore. And one of the things I did this weekend, which now I wish I hadn't gone to look, the downstairs closet that's by the front door has normally been Thomas's closet for him to put his jackets and his hoodies and all that kind of stuff in, and I've been putting off going to it, going through it, that kind of thing, So I open it up, and the first thing I see are these stairs for the cats, when they got old. The stairs are up in the top, and his little wooden toolbox that he called his downstairs toolbox is up there, and I'm like, okay, no big deal. And then I see this exercise equipment. He bought this thing 10 or 11 years ago. It was a Gazelle. I don't know if you know what a Gazelle is, but a lot of people liken it to like a elliptical machine, but it's not really. Got like these running boards that swing back and forth on these cables, and then handles. It can go back and you do this kind of workout thing. He had ordered that and had it up in the sewing room and used it, I think maybe 3, not quite 4 weeks, and then decided that, you know, he didn't really like it, so he's going to get rid of it. So I assumed he got rid of it. I mean, it was out of the sewing room, you know. I don't get on down to that closet because that was his man closet. And there it is. And it's kind of heavy. So I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with that? So I was talking with my friend and I thought, you know, part of me says I should go ahead and get rid of it. Then the other part of me says, take it to the other house. If you don't want it, then get rid of it. You know, might be great for using, you know, to exercise when it's raining or whatever. Because I hadn't used it because at the point when he bought it, I had what they thought was frozen shoulder. And so I wasn't able to really use my arms. I could lift my arms about this high, and it was difficult getting into clothes, putting a bra on was ridiculous. You know, getting into a coat was extremely painful. So the doctor ordered some physical therapy. I was doing the physical therapy and constantly working at it. And I was supposed to do the exercises twice a day, and I was doing them 3 times a day because I really wanted those healed. I wanted it done. It was extremely painful. Couldn't get it to the point that I wanted with just doing the exercises, so the physical therapist decided at that point that it was time to do what they call passive range of motion. Passive range of motion, when you don't have that kind of range of motion and your muscles are not happy about it, is extremely painful and torturous. So I would cry throughout the whole session as he was stretching me, stretching the arms, shoulders, trying to get it to a certain point. Couldn't get it to the certain point, and finally he said, this is probably the best you're going to get. And at that point I could get my arms up to here, you know, without extreme pain. And so he suggested to the doctor that we just do injections into the shoulders, that might help a little bit, at least with the pain. So I'm going to the doctor, you know, the doctor that does the arthritis and that kind of stuff. And they're injecting them, and it wasn't really helping. You know, I was still having a lot of pains, and when I go to put a jacket on, sweater on, had these massive muscle spasms that would run across my back, down the arms and everything, and, you know, cry out. So I wasn't doing anything then. And then there was a new doctor that came in, and so this new doctor comes in, and the first thing he says is, we've never gotten x-rays. How come we haven't gotten x-rays? So he sends me down for x-rays. I come back up. He says, well, we're going to send you down for an MRI right now. I said, what? Why an MRI? He said, well, I'm going to send you down for an MRI. They've got an opening. They're going to get you in today, so we don't have to schedule it for another day. So I went down for the MRI. And they sent the disc up. He's looking at the disc. He says to me, well, there really isn't anything that we can do. You do not have frozen shoulder. You have a little bit of arthritis there. But your main problem is you have bilateral rotator cuff tears. I said, what? And I said, so what are we going to do? Normally you do surgery. And he said to me, you've reached the point where we cannot do surgery because we would be re-tearing the muscles and those ligaments and everything else, so we're not going to do that. You will probably heal on your own and get most of your range of motion, if not all of it, You're already at a point where you're healing well. You do have a little bit of scar tissue. And it was then that we determined that the one day that I fell down the stairs on my rear end and almost broke my rear end, but bruised it pretty badly, I had grabbed the side rails, and most likely that's when I tore those rotator cuffs. But nobody bothered doing an x-ray, nothing. They just assumed it was frozen shoulder. So, I will tell you, if you ever have an instance where something like that has happened, push to have x-rays, at least. I didn't with this doctor because, you know, she kind of knew what she was doing. At least I thought she did. So anyway, that's my story. I do have another health issue that I would like folks to be praying about. I won't tell you about it right now, but I would just ask that you would pray that the doctors will find an alternative to what they currently want to do that is less invasive. I'll just put it that way. Okay. Now, are you ready for a little what Tarnation? I know I am. Cat rescued from slush-filled storm drain in Iowa. Police and animal control officers in Iowa rescued a cat that had been trapped in a frozen storm drain for at least a few days. Cedar Falls Public Safety posted photos to a Facebook showing an officer, Marissa Albert, climbing into the slush-filled storm drain to retrieve the trapped feline. Police said Abbott and the animal control officer, Ryland Dolan, responded to the storm drain near the Pump House Bar and Grill on Main Street after a member of the public reported a cat was trapped in the drain. We could hear it meowing, but we couldn't see it, Dolan told the Courier newspaper. Abbott climbed into the drain and was able to coax the cat out of the narrow pipe it had fled into. The cat was taken to the Cedar Bend Humane Society, and a microchip gave the cat's name Oliver, but the owner's contact information was listed as out of state, and the phone number was no longer in service. Officials said Oliver will be put up for adoption if his owners aren't found. Pennsylvania couple marked their 80th wedding anniversary. A Pennsylvania couple who are both 102 years old celebrated an even more rare milestone, their 80th wedding anniversary. Robert and Edith May Schaum, who met in high school in 1936 and married in 1942, celebrated that anniversary December the 26th. We hold each other up, Edith May told WGAL-TV. I guess the secret would be, don't go to bed mad, Robert added. And guess what? There is a Guinness World Record for the longest marriage that stands at 86 years and 290 days. And it was set by Herbert and Zelmira Fisher, whose marriage lasted until Herbert Fisher's death in 2011. See, married life's not so bad. When we had cats, our cats loved playing with hair ties. Back then my hair was about to the middle of my back. I used to put it up in ponytails or pull it back, braid it, that kind of thing. But we were always very cautious with those hair ties. And here's a story where people weren't so cautious. Veterinarians removed 38 hair ties from cat's stomach. An ailing cat brought into a South Carolina animal hospital is recovering after veterinary surgeons removed 38 hair ties from the feline's stomach. The Charleston Animal Society said the cat named Juliet was brought in by a member of the public who reported the feline had been left outside a home when the former residents moved out of state. Carers noticed that Juliet was becoming lethargic and not eating after a couple of weeks. and a radiograph discovered she had an unusual blockage in her stomach. Lee Jameson, Associate Director of Veterinary Care for the Charleston Animal Society, said the surgical team was stunned to discover the blockage was 38 hair ties swallowed by the cat. "I've never seen anything like it," Jameson said in a news release. Juliet is now recovering, but the blockage led to a liver condition that is now being treated. We have to make sure that as we feed her, we keep her electrolytes in balance. So folks, if you have animals, keep those hair ties out of their reach. They're fun to play with. Be careful. People in this next story are probably pretty lucky to be alive. Driver, passenger avoids serious injury when guardrail impales car. Firefighters in Connecticut said a driver and passenger miraculously walked away without serious injuries after the car ended up impaled on a steel guardrail. Manchester Fire Rescue EMS said in a Facebook post that the single vehicle crash on Interstate 384 caused the guardrail to separate and impale the car. The steel guardrail traveled through the passenger compartment between both front seats and then exited the rear, extending approximately 20 feet beyond it. The department said the driver and passenger miraculously avoided serious injuries and were treated for minor scrapes. It's kind of scary. Have you ever gotten anything in the mail that you didn't order? What do you do with it? You know by law that if you do get something in the mail that you didn't order, you have the right to keep it, whether you ordered it or not, and not pay for it. Thank goodness for this next woman. California woman receives 100 portable heaters she never ordered. A California woman is trying to get to the bottom of an unusual mystery after being inundated with 100 packages, each containing a portable heater. Connie Matthews said she has received about 100 space heaters in the mail at her Sacramento home, and the mysterious packages started arriving earlier this month. They started coming Friday, 2 weeks before Christmas, and every day I would get sometimes 2 boxes, sometimes more. Yesterday there were 7 boxes waiting on the porch for us. Matthews said the package came from multiple locations across the country, including Iowa and North Carolina. The same thing over and over again. "I never ordered a portable heater. I don't need one," she said. Matthews suspects her address may have erroneously listed as a return address for an Amazon space heater seller. "What happens if nobody comes back on me saying, 'Well, we sent them to your house. What did you do with it?'" she said. Mike and Kelly Gallivan of Acton, Massachusetts faced a similar problem in 2018 when their house received a flood of Amazon packages containing small, inexpensive items they never ordered. The couple said that their research revealed they were likely receiving the packages as a part of a scheme to get fraudulent reviews marked as verified on Amazon. "We are investigating inquiries from consumers who have received unsolicited packages, as this would violate our policies," Amazon said in a statement at one time. "We remove sellers in violation of their policies, withhold payments, and work with law enforcement to take appropriate reaction and action." Now, that is part of the problem. They have so many Chinese shippers, sellers, that list a New York address, but they're actually shipping from China to New York, and you may never get your package. Happens, right? So what are you going to do? You have to report it to Amazon. Hopefully they will take care of it. So just be careful, folks. All right. Lost engagement found in the toilet 21 years later. A diamond engagement ring accidentally flushed down the toilet of a Florida home was returned to its owners after being found lodged inside the commode 21 years later. Nick and Shayna Dane say they weren't yet married when the ring went down the toilet 21 years ago at Nick's parents' house. She came to me one day and said, "I think I lost my ring. It was on the counter, now it's gone. I think I may have flushed it down on the toilet on accident." Shayna said she'd been wiping around the sink. "I was cleaning the water off the counter with some toilet paper. My ring was sitting on the counter. I must have grabbed my ring by accident and tossed the TP. It's one of the worst things I ever did," she wrote on Facebook. The couple went to great lengths to find that lost ring. "I climbed down into the septic tank so we could pump every bit of it through a strainer to try to find it. No luck," Shayna said. Nick's parents said a plumber was replacing their toilet last month when he found the ring lodged inside. The ring was returned to the couple on Christmas Day. "They brought this out and it was wrapped up like a little Christmas bag, so we opened it up and both of us knew exactly what it was," Nick recalled. The couple said they learned a lesson from the experience. "Check your toilets when you lose things," Nick said. And there you have it. What in tarnation? All right, guys. That's all for today. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope your week is going well. I will see you again soon. And as always, remember, be kind to one another. Love one another. Get out there and see this big, beautiful world we live in. And try to work with your words. Today it's been a little difficult for me. They keep getting stuck in this mouth. All right, guys. See you guys soon. Bye.